heter Glenn i Göteborg. Så vi döpte bara en 10 ton tunga vattenbuss efter det också. My name is Jasper. I'll be your guide now for the next 3 hours. 2 hours on land, 1 hour in the water. And during these hours we're going to see all the best sightseeing spots that we have here in Gothenburg. The water is about an hour away more or less. Jasper heter jag, så jag som är en guide här nu timmarna före. Har vi några frågor på turen så är det bara att ställa dem. Jag finns här för er skull. Det är bara att grava tag i mig ifall det är någonting. Vi är i vattnet om ungefär en timme. No, I'm just kidding. Don't worry. It's not 3 hours. It's not 3 hours. It's 1 hour. It's what it takes. To empty a minute. I'm not going to take your entire day. It's fine. I can feel the panic setting in here in the back of the bus. In about an hour, you're back outside the Great Theatre, I promise. Something that I like to watch when I do this tour is all the people's reactions that we drive by. People look at this bus and take pictures. It's like we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Michael Jackson behind the steering wheel. We don't. We have someone even better. This is our bus driver. Please give a big round of applause for our captain. This is Joachim! Jocke, han är vår busschaufför här idag. Det känns tryggt tycker jag. Jasper heter jag som sagt, men ni kan kalla mig för Tjernobyl. Jag har en sån härlig utstrålning. Göteborgs humor. Det ska vi utsätta er för här idag, det kan jag lova. So we just took a left turn up on Aschebergsgatan. We're going to roll past Vasaplatsen here now on the left-hand side. Now, in 2001 we had an EU summit here in Gothenburg. And this meeting had representatives from the entire world come to Gothenburg, including George Bush, who was the president of the United States. But the people of Gothenburg hate George Bush. And this led to a very famous riot called the Gothenburg riots. Göteborgskravallerna pratar jag nu alltså. Large parts of Gothenburg was being destroyed. The police even had to open fire against the demonstrants, and that was right here in the park on the left. Den här backen som kör i här nu är väldigt känd, eller snarare ökänd, för 2 liknande olyckor. Gick såklart glasräcket. So now we're rolling down the avenue. The only thing I want to tell you about the avenue is how wide the sidewalks are. The sidewalks are about 3 times as wide as normal sidewalks. And the reason why is because this used to be a residential area with large mansions and nice gardens. And when they dug up the gardens and put pavement here, that's where the sidewalks ended up being. Idag finns det inga herrgårdar på Avenyn. Idag är det bara hotell och restauranger.
Oh my God.
For those of you that are sitting next to an open window, I think you're very brave people. When we go into the water, I'll do a quick safety briefing for you. In the ceiling above you, you have your life jackets. They're going to stay there. I'll tell you if you have to take them down. There are 2 emergency exits that we'll use if something happens. One in the front here where you came in, and one in the middle of the vehicle on the left-hand side. There's a door here that we can open if something happens. Please, no seatbelts. Take off your seatbelts now, thank you. Ta av era säkerhetsbälten so that you're not stuck in your seat if something happens. When we go into the water, you're going to be pushed forward. Put a hand against the seat in front of you so you can brace yourselves. These are quite big powers we're handling here. We're going into the water. So please do that. For those of you that are traveling with children, hold on to your children. Or to your cell phones, whatever you feel is most important. It's up to you to prioritize. I don't judge you. Hey, it's up to you. Of course, before we go into the water, we have to transform our bus driver into the captain he truly is. And for this, he has the captain's hat. Där har jag honom. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Amazing! I never thought this would work. This is the first time we're trying. Fantastic. With a splash. We're no longer sitting on a bus, now we are on a ship. Det heter inte längre höger-vänster, det heter styrbord och babord. Styrbord har på höger sida och babord har vi till vänster. Now it's no longer right and left, it's called the starboard and port side. Starboard is on your right, port side is on your left. So straight ahead here now, we have the 5th largest island in Sweden. Everything you see now in front of you is the same island, called Hisingen. We started building Gothenburg here in... story is for you. A couple of years ago, we built this building now on the right-hand side of the hill. That was built in 1901, which is relatively recent for Gothenburg. It's a sugar factory. Sockerbruket was made to make sugar for alcohol. Anyway, before we had this building up here, we had a huge castle in the same place called the Älvsborg Castle. Beautiful castle. But there's a problem with this castle. In every single war that Sweden had with Denmark, the Danish came to Gothenburg and took the castle. And they wouldn't give it back. So we had to keep buying it back from the Danish. 4 times this happened. In total, Sweden paid Denmark more than 1 trillion Swedish kroners. That's a million millions, 1,000 billion Swedish kroners for our own damn castle. And the last time this happened, the Swedish king said, I can never afford this happening again. And the king of Sweden destroyed the castle himself, just to make sure the Danish would never come back to Gothenburg. Alltså efter att vi hade spenderat 1 miljon miljoner kronor, eller 1000 miljarder i dagens penningvärde, så rev vi slottet själva. Jättebra idé det här. Så byggde vi sockerbruket istället. Och allt detta bara för att danskarna aldrig ska komma tillbaka igen. Men det funkar inte. De är fortfarande här. So today it is a sugar factory. And they used to make sugar in there for the alcohol they made in the building called the Waterfront. As you might be able to tell from the architecture, it was not intended to be the hotel it is today. It was a beer brewery where they made the very famous Swedish beer called Porter. Porter was started by a German man called Abraham Loren. Then he sold it to a Scottish guy called Carnegie. Kanske vi känner igen idag, Carnegie Porter, the name of the beer. In 1926 they made 5.5 million liters of beer in here. We drank almost all of it because we are alcoholics in Sweden. But also Brazil and America are good examples of faraway export countries. That's also the oldest trademark in Sweden. This guy is else. He says he's doing great. Fantastic. Here we go. Full speed ahead. For our captain Rebecca on safe dry land. Welcome back. Now we're slowly going to roll back to our...
19. It's the last shivering moment of the Great Nordic War. The open area around us is the main square, the city center. The water next to us is the harbor, where goods are taken ashore protected by the fortifications. The square is crowded today. Farmers, craftsmen, merchants and soldiers, almost all of the city's 2,000 inhabitants have gathered here. People are celebrating the colonel, Georg Stähl von Holstein, who at his own expense ordered guns from the crown house, shipped them across the river during the night, and ambushed the Danish admiral Tordenskjöld. The Danes had besieged the Älvsborg fortress at the mouth of the river and were now threatening the entire city. At dawn, Holstein opened fire and forced Tordenskjöld to leave. In der vorderen Flussmündung. Als es gerade ein wenig hell wurde fielen die ersten Kanonenschüsse über die dänischen Truppen und diese wurden zur Flucht gezwungen. Georg Stähl von Holstein ist der Held des Tages. This wasn't the first time Gothenburg was threatened by foreign forces, and it wouldn't be the last. But the city itself has never been attacked or besieged. spite of the exposed position of the Danes in the south and the Norwegians in the north. When Gustav Adolf II founded Gothenburg in 1621, the entire city was built as a fortress. As a matter of fact, Gothenburg had the strongest fortification in northern Europe. Dies war nicht das erste Mal, dass Göteborg von fremden Truppen We are now driving along Postgatan. This was the shortest route for the emigrants of the 19th century from the train station to the steamboats. Along this street they found everything they needed. Hotels, bars, ticket office, money exchange, gambling dens and brothels. Some of them never left this street. You could easily lose all of your traveling money here. Und entlang dieser Straße zum Hafen gingen. Dort fanden sie alles, was sie brauchten. Wohnräume, Bars, Valutawechsel, Reisetickets, Spielhölle, Bordelle. Manche kamen nie weiter, weil man hier leicht seine Ersparnisse verspielen konnte. Gothenburg is built on marshland, and the canals in the city weren't just for transporting goods. They were also of use when the ground wasn't drained so it could be built on. Dutch city planners were hired to design the city, since they were experts with experience from building in these types of areas. The heavy fortifications were supported.
Oh, it's a brew house. It's that word.
Yeah.
Century and on, the architects were educated at the universities rather than in the military. Along this street, we can see some of the works of these new kinds of architects. In 1861, it was decided that the city was to be expanded outside of the moat, and in designing this part of the city, one was inspired by the grand boulevards and avenues of Paris and Munich. With the building of these areas, the richer citizens dared to move outside the moat. Up to now, everything outside the walls had been workers' districts and slum. Ab Mitte des 19. Jahrhunderts Architekten an der Universität statt beim Militär ausgebildet. Einige dieser innovative Werke on the hill with a golden crown on its roof is called Skansen Kronan. This was one out of 2 outer fortifications with a mission to defend the city gates. The fact is that the entire district of Haga was built with a reservation that it was to be leveled with the ground in wartime to keep a free line of sight for Skansen Kronan and its cannons. Fortunately, this never happened. Über Haga sieht man Skansen Kronan. Eine der 2 äußeren Festungen, dessen Kanonen die Tore der Stadt schützen sollten. Haga wurde unter Vorbehalt erbaut, dass man es der Erde flach machen würde, im Falle eines Krieges freies Schussfeld haben würde zur Verteidigung der Stadttore. Dies musste zum Glück nie erfolgen.